T. Welcome to this Louie T Network exclusive preseason breakdown of the Browns and Eagles week 2. This is the only game on tonight. It'll kick off week 2 of the preseason. Lots of action over the next couple of days, culminating in a Monday night game, the first of the preseason. And really, week 2 is now the new dress rehearsal of the preseason. So if you're going to play your starters at all, this is the week you're probably going to do it. Neither one of these teams played their starters. Generally, I wouldn't even bother with a game like this, but with the Eagles and the Cowboys in particular, the Giants have now added their name to that list as well. But generally with the Eagles and Cowboys, I usually try to take a look at them, especially if some things have changed in the second week of the preseason. It used to be the third week of the preseason, but now that there are only 3 games, I always like to take a look and see what they got going on over there, because generally the Eagles aren't playing their starters in the preseason. And they had joint practices this week, so it made it a lot easier for them to not play their starters. Same thing with Cleveland, which I still don't get, because the Browns seem to me they need all of the reps that they can get. And even some confidence. Would have been nice to see Deshaun go out there, move it down the field, get it into the end zone, and really feel good about himself. But unfortunately, they felt like they got enough work with the Eagles during the week. Didn't play them in the game, and such is life. But I really my focus was on the Eagles anyway. My primary reason for even bringing this game to your doorstep, and I tweeted this out before the game, hey, look, got a family member on the tube. It's the only game in town. Might want to give them a look-see, see what those boys are over there talking about. You're probably not going to see the starters, and I told you guys it's irrelevant if the starters play or not. And I knew they probably weren't going to, but you just want to see what they got going on over there. And they put some of the guys that are going to be contributors on the defense in particular on the field in this game. A lot of those young boys got reps, and we'll be talking about them here in a second. But you know what else I didn't really think about, but it was good to see, kind of what I'm getting myself into, is their new defensive coordinator, Sean Desai. And I find him to be interesting. One of the things that they didn't really do last year under Jonathan Gannon was blitz. And Eagles fans were really, really frustrated with his lackadaisical approach to, blitzing and being aggressive. He, wanted to just kind of sit back, play coverage. And when you're getting after the quarterback the way that the Eagles did last year, you would rather just sit back, let your front four get after the quarterback, and play good coverage behind that. And they did that really well last year. So maybe he wasn't blitzing for a reason, though. Just to, play devil's advocate. Maybe he wasn't blitzing for a reason. I mean, for as good as the Eagles think their corners are, they get cooked quite a bit. And they're not young. And I've already told you the cornerback position is no country for old men. They got a couple of oldie but goodies back there. Really, the division is chock full of oldie but goodies at the cornerback position, in particular in Dallas, with them going out and getting Stephon Gilmore and the Eagles having Darius Slay. You can run by some of these dudes, right? So I don't know if it's the smartest thing in the world to necessarily blitz when you're not sure about if the back end is going to be able to hold up. And the questions might be even greater this year because of, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson not being an eraser back there this year. And they probably really like Reed Blankenship. We'll see how good he is, We'll see how good he is. But maybe blitzing may be advantageous for the opposition with the Eagles. They may ultimately be really aggressive this year, and it may benefit them. But watching this game, that was probably my first takeaway was he's going to blitz. It looks like he's going to blitz a little bit more. One of the things that I enjoyed when we played the Eagles last year, or just watching the Eagles in general, is that they didn't blitz, period. You really didn't have to worry about that. And so you were going to have opportunities to, take advantage of that, knowing that there wasn't going to be a ton of pressure being applied. Some quarterbacks handle it well, others not so much. But it didn't really matter last year because it wasn't a lot of blitzing going on. That said, Sean Desai looks like he's going to, use the pressure when he feels necessary. And it didn't take long in this game for him to try to heat up DTR to see what he was about. And that young fella there, we'll talk about him a little bit later on. But, boy, he looked He's looked impressive this preseason, I must say. But in any event, I really wanted to take a look at the Eagles' youngins. They got a lot of young players. And, one of the things that I looked at tonight, and it dawned on me tonight, is that I don't think they have the depth defensively in particular that they had last year. They may have more depth offensively this year than they did last year. They had a few injuries tonight. I hope all of those guys are okay. I think OZ got injured, Olamide Zaccheaus, and I didn't even know he was in Philadelphia. So that was news to me. That's actually a really good get. He's better than Quez Watkins, if you ask me. So I'm like, what the hell is he doing there, right? So they got depth on the offensive side of the football. That goes without saying. It's defense that I think could be problematic for them this year, because they came at you in waves last year, and they came at you in waves with veteran defenders that had been there, done that, and knew what they needed to do, knew their assignment. They got a lot of wide-eyed guys running around out there, young boys. Look, they're talented, no question about that. But are they going to get their job done? Are they ready for the NFL game? We're going to see. I mean, they're going to throw these guys kind of right into the fire anyway. But you saw Jordan Davis out there. We saw their first-round pick from Georgia, the other defensive tackle. I can't even – Jalen Carter. You saw a lot of the edge rusher, Nolan Smith. Damn, he looked good. When it's a family member, you are hoping that their young players look trash, right? You're hoping that the young boys are over there struggling, right? I talked to LB yesterday for the first time in probably, I don't know, 2-3 months. And the first thing he said to me is, man, I heard Emmanuel Ford's over there struggling, getting cooked. I'm like, nah, bro, he holding it down. He had a couple of PBUs in practice today. He holding it down, right? And he was like, oh, okay. Like, he wanted him to be trash, right? I showed up hoping Nolan Smith was going to be out there struggling with DeJuan Jones. I was like, yeah, DeJuan, put them long-ass arms on his ass. Lean that 370-pound frame on his 240-pound ass. Got to catch him first. He was running circles around DeJuan Jones' ass. I was like, oh, shit. He's going to be good. Like, damn. He's going to be good. He did get injured. I hope he's okay, because he left the game. But he was smiling as he was walking to the locker room. I think he's fine. I don't know the extent of the injury. But even the play he got hurt on, he was like, God damn. It's misdirection with Anthony Schwartz. They're doing a little reverse, and he's getting blocked, even held a little bit. He gets away and runs Anthony Schwartz down, grabs him by the horse collar, yanks it a little bit, but doesn't drag him down with it. It makes the play. I don't know what happened to him and how he sustained an injury there, but I'm like, what the F, bro? But he's that kind of athletic freak. Almost had a sack when he ran around DeJuan Jones and took his arms and get them shits off me. Out of all the young fellas, he was the one that was the most impressive. Nakobe Dean forced a fumble. I put that more on the back. He didn't even put the ball away. Like, why are you holding the ball like this down by the goal line? Put the shit away. 4 points of pressure. Protect the rock. It was a good play. He got into the backfield, but, I think where the Eagles are going to be vulnerable is the first line of defense. They're talented. There's no question about that. I think last year, specifically on the defensive side of the football, they just had a wealth of riches and depth. It felt like they came at you in waves, with TJ Edwards and Kaiser White and, the safety Epps, Marcus Epps, and Chauncey Gardner Johnson. And it was so much talent on that football team. I don't know who their starting safeties are going to be. I'm assuming Reed Blankenship is going to be one of them. I know they went out and signed Edmonds. He did not look good tonight. I don't know if they're going to be relying on Wallace. He looks like a hybrid kind of, safety / linebacker, but I don't know if they're going to be relying on him a lot. Again, I don't really love the depth on the back end. I know they drafted Sidney Brown, and he was out there with the second team as well. But I don't love their back end right now. I'm just going to be honest. It's not as deep as it was last year. And I thought DTR made some good plays. And again, they didn't start their corners or anything like that. So take it with a grain of salt. But he's been really impressive, and he was impressive on that first possession, took him right down the field. And I still think you're going to be able to run on Philadelphia. Despite all the shit that they've done, I still think you're going to be able to run on them. Until they prove me wrong and prove otherwise, I still think you can run on them. Everybody kept, oh, Jordan Davis, this, Jordan. He was in the Super Bowl, right? I'm not tripping. He played in the Super Bowl, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. When Isaiah Pacheco was gutting you in the second half, he was in the game. I don't know if they're going to stop the run effectively or not. We'll see. I wasn't blown away by what I saw tonight, but they're talented. That is for sure. And boy, does Nolan Smith look good. Damn it, man. He looked good. And their defensive coordinator looks like he's going to be a lot more aggressive. I guess I'll take a wait and see approach on that, because that could be a gift or it could be a curse. You know, it may backfire on them. And maybe Jonathan Gannon knew all along that they weren't equipped to be blitzing on the back end because guys might be able to run by them. James Bradbury is not the fastest corner in the world, never has been, never will be. And Darius Slay, as I mentioned, is like 33 years old. So I don't know if blitzing is the best thing in the world, but there's a time and a place for blitzing. And he looks like he's at least willing to do that. And I really wanted Jonathan Gannon to be back in Philadelphia. So I'm not looking forward to seeing what Sean Desai has in store for this defense with all the talented players that they can put on the field. If he's a really good defensive coordinator, they might be better defensively this year. If they're healthy, that's going to be the key for Philadelphia. I think last year they were much better equipped to deal with an injury here or an injury there, defensively, that is. Because I think you're going to be asking a lot of young guys to produce, which you didn't have to do last year. So it could go one of two ways. If those young boys are ready to come in, show, improve, they could be lights out again defensively. If they're not ready and you're relying on them, it could be some growing pains there. But all in all, wasn't much to really glean from the offense because nobody played. So I didn't even really waste my time, focusing in on the Eagles offensively. Just defensively, getting to know their defensive coordinator, kind of seeing philosophically how he wants to roll. Even on a 3rd and 12, all right, what's your philosophy? Because if you're an aggressive guy, you're going to stay aggressive no matter the down and distance. It was 3rd and 12. He dropped his guys back. They threw a screen, and they picked up the first down. There was another instance. It's like 3rd and 18. They had just had a holding penalty after converting a 3rd and 8. The Browns had a holding penalty. It's 3rd and 18, and they played off and soft, and they gave up a 19-yard completion. So I don't know if he's going to be super aggressive. Again, it's the second unit. Maybe come regular season, he's not as lax in those situations, and he gets a little aggressive to force the ball out of the quarterback's hands a little bit quicker. Maybe when you have your starters out there, you can be a little bit more aggressive, tighter coverage, not as often and soft. Whatever the case may be, I did see him blitz a little, and then I saw the polar end opposite of the spectrum. I saw him playing often soft in some long distance situations and giving it up. So I would expect there to be some kind of, balance and middle ground there with him. But nonetheless, my biggest takeaway is he's willing to blitz, and their last defensive coordinator wasn't. There was a nice little run in there by Rashad Penny. He broke off a nice little, probably like 15-yard run or whatever. So and just another guy that they added this offseason that should help bolster their rushing attack, which is lethal because of the legs of Jalen Hurts and then that offensive line that is just so damn good. So they got a bunch of running backs. They got the receivers. I feel the same way. And let me just say this too. Marcus Mariota was horrible tonight. And they're in the same exact boat they were in last year. Jalen Hurts got hurt late in the season. They lost to Dallas and they lost to New Orleans, and he had to hurry back in the season finale to make sure they didn't blow the division. They're in the same exact boat with Marcus Mariota. He can't get hurt. Jalen Hurts can't get hurt because even in a 2-week stretch, they're in trouble because Marcus Mariota stinks. So they're right back where they were last year with Gardner Minshew. That is apparent. I thought Mariota would be a much better, fit for their offense than Minshew because he's an athlete, he can run. But there's this whole thing about quarterbacks needing to throw the football that can be a little dicey for Marcus. He threw a bad pick tonight, and that's Marcus Mariota. You got to take the good with the bad. His wheels are legit, but when he's got to sit back there and throw, it can go a little sideways on you. So the moral of that story is Jalen Hurts is going to have to stay healthy. Period. Browns. Start with DTR. There was a competition when the preseason started for the third quarterback on their roster behind Watson and Joshua Dobbs. That race is over. That battle is dead. I mean, Kellen Mond stinks anyway, but that race is over. I mean, as a matter of fact, I feel like DTR should be getting some opportunities to maybe see what he can do as the second backup or the second quarterback and not even need to keep a third quarterback. I don't know where the Browns are in their roster development, and maybe they don't really have an urgency to trim off fat, and they're fine with keeping 3 quarterbacks. But DTR is playing really well, man. Looked good in the Hall of Fame game. Was really good last week against Washington in spurts. I thought they really kept him in check, but the lone touchdown that the Browns did score in the game, I think they only scored 1 touchdown. Maybe they scored a second. I think they did score 2 touchdowns. But it was DTR that led the charge, and he's just been super impressive. Not just with his legs. Everybody just assumed he's going to be back there running around. Now, he's been really confident in the pocket, making good decisions, been accurate with the football, had a deep ball early in this game. Speaking of impressive, the kid Tillman from Tennessee, who was the Browns' first pick because they didn't have a first or second rounder this year, he looks good, man. Every time I see him, I walk away saying, hey, he can help right now. They got another dude that I every time I see him, I'm impressed. It's Austin something. He's number 80. This dude makes a lot of good in-traffic catches, takes shots, body's exposed, hand grabs, and comes down with the football. I've been impressed. I mean, there were at least 3 plays last week, 2 in the Hall of Fame game, and another one tonight that I saw where I go, he's getting waxed, but he's extending for the football, and he's catching it. And I'm like, man, there's something to this dude. I absolutely love Demetric Felton. Every team could use a Demetric Felton. I just really like him a lot. And I thought he played well tonight. I thought the Browns did some okay things. DTR is the main attraction there. DeJuan Jones has to learn it's going to be tough for him, but he's got to learn how to use his length as his best friend. Like, you don't want him reaching and getting off center and off balance, but you can't let these fast guys run circles around you. You got to use that length. Worst case scenario, you push them up the pocket. And he tried, and his hands so you got to learn when to shoot his hands, even if you got to give a little feint, and then stab. He's got to be better, though, because he was struggling with Nolan Smith over there on that edge. I'm just baffled as to why I get it. Joint practices a couple times this week. It's a quick turnaround of a Thursday game. I get all of that. Last time I checked, quarterbacks aren't being hit in practice, right? So if you're the Cleveland Browns, because the Eagles, they went to the Super Bowl last year. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. They got the same staff for the most part. Nothing's really changed. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. if you're the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson is still struggling and still trying to, master the offense, and you need all the reps you can get, why would you not send him out there for a possession or two tonight? That is mind-boggling to me. But that's nor here nor there. They must feel good about what they've seen from him to this point. And we'll see how it looks come week number 1, because I doubt they're going to play their starters in week 3. I don't think any team is going to really showcase their starters in that third preseason game. You're going to start preparing for week number 1. So we'll see what happens. I'm a little bit disappointed that DTR is on the Browns, because barring a catastrophe with Watson, he'll never see the field. He shouldn't, at least. But man, he's talented, and I knew it coming out of UCLA. It was just a matter of, could he get in the right system that fit his skill set? And being that Cleveland isn't going to give him a legitimate chance to play, it sucks. But that's the exact system, that fits his skill set, because they're trying to adapt what they do to Deshaun Watson's skill set. And so kind of fits DTR to a T. But Stefanski is more of an under center, zone, run blocking scheme, stretch, outside zone, inside zone, heavy play action fake type of coach. I don't know if that fits Deshaun Watson or not. He's more of a gun guy, Stefanski's going to want his quarterback under the center. Let's see what Watson does. I'm still not convinced he's the right fit for that offense. But I digress. So let's get to the comment section. I'm not going to hold y'all here very long. I just wanted to kind of see what the Eagles were talking about. I'll probably take a look at the Cowboys this weekend, because I haven't. Probably take a look at the Giants, even if they don't play their starters, just kind of see what they got going on over there. Just to kind of get a feel for what these teams have going on. Always got to keep tabs on the family members, especially when you're going to be seeing them relatively early in the season. We got the Eagles in week 4. We got the Giants in week 6 or 7 or something like that. We're done with the Eagles and Giants, I think, after like the first 11 games or so. And then we play the Cowboys twice late in the season, Thanksgiving and then the final game of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So want to see what these teams are talking about. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, "Hey, Lou, Eagles won't repeat. Plug your stuff." Thank you. If you're out there and you enjoy, whether you're an Eagles fan, Cowboys fan, Commanders fan, Giants fan, whatever the case may be, we got a brand new channel. The NFC East Super Friends. That's the name of the YouTube channel. Check it out. I will, matter of fact, let me see if I can drop the link in here. If any of my mods are out there, drop the link in the chat, and I'll drop the link in the description of this video, and I'll pin it in the comment section. But brand new channel. All you have to type in is at NFC East Super Friends. It'll pop up. And want you to go over there, sub it up. We've got a brand new live stream with the fellas, Bad Dog Law, LB, and myself next Wednesday, August 23rd at 8 p. Eastern time. And it's going to be lit. We're going to be making our season predictions. I assume that it's going to get hot and heavy in there, because they've been talking shit all off season, especially LB, about how trash we're going to be. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how bad he has us this season. All of that shit they've been talking about Sam Howell, I'm going to make them eat crow at some point this year. And I want them to continue to keep that same energy. Like I told them during the offseason when they were making fun of me, keep that same energy, So it's going to be fun. Make sure you go over there, sub up, check out some of the old videos that we've done. we've been so flagrant a bunch of times. It's fun going back and listening to some of the really bad takes that all of us have had at some point. And those dudes are hilarious, man. I get a kick out of going back and watching some of those old videos. So do yourself a favor, sub the channel up. It's the only place you're going to get NFC East Super Friends content. We're no longer streaming those live streams on any of our channels. It's only going to be on that channel exclusively. So make sure you sub up, turn on that notification bell so you're in the loop when we go live. Appreciate that opportunity, Trev. Good looking out. Let's see. If y'all out there, I got a couple minutes. You want to have your comment read, use the hashtag LouieTLive, and I'll read your comment if it's pertinent. If you want to jump straight to the front of the line, super chats are the way to do that. So make sure that you use the hashtag so I know that you want your comment to be addressed. I saw something in the comment section about Cade York. Man, like, I don't remember what round they drafted him in last year, but I could swear it was early, like the 3rd round or some bullshit like that. 3rd or 4th round. Like, you know what my stance is on drafting any specialist. Long snapper, punter, place kicker, doesn't matter. After 5th round or later, I got no issues. Anytime before then, he better be a damn near Hall of Fame player if you're going to spend a 4th or 3rd round pick, especially if you spend in a day 2 pick on a kicker or a punter. It doesn't really matter. If you're spending a day 2 pick, this dude better come in and light the NFL on fire. He better be Justin Tucker is what he better be. Or else you can find a damn kicker. Okay. I could have sworn they spent an early pick on Cade York, and he sucks ass. He wasn't good last year. I think he made a big kick against maybe Carolina early in the season. I think he maybe missed late in the game though, but he made a couple of big kicks early, and then he really turned sour. And now I think he's lost all of his confidence. I know he missed against us last week. I know he missed in the Hall of Fame game too. I didn't watch all of the game tonight, so I don't know if he missed again, but there's been some bad field goal kicking this preseason, just to, bring that up now that we're on that subject matter. Been a lot of bad kicking, man. The Broncos have had some struggles. The Cardinals were struggling in that game. At least 4 missed kicks between the 2 kickers, maybe even more. I've seen some guys missing some kicks this preseason, but that's nor here nor there. Anyway, I digress. Let's see. Jado, what's going on with you? Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy Jado. Right. What's up, Lou? What's up, Jay? Can't wait to watch Sam this year, man. I can't wait to watch the fellas in general. Preseason always sucks because just as you get lathered up, you get excited, and it's getting good, they snatch all the starters out of the game. Right? It's hard to really lock in the preseason. Can't wait till these things actually count, and it's 3 hours and 4 minutes of starters trying to go get a dub instead of 2 possessions. And it's almost like back in the day when you played when I played basketball and you made a mistake and you looking over at the scores table to see if they about to come get you. That's kind of how I feel about preseason ball. Like, every time they leave the field, is that the last time we're going to see them for the night? Like, that wasn't a great possession. Are we going to see them one more time? Like, that's how I felt watching them. I didn't even know after the rain delay if we were going to get them at all. Then we got them, and the first drive wasn't that bad. The penalty and the drop and all that stuff kind of derailed it in the sack. So I was like, they got to come back out there one more time, right? Then, we get bad field position. You get it up to safety. And I'm like, that might be it. That's 2 possessions. That might be it. And the Browns have started yanking their starters. So I'm like, yeah, that's definitely it. And then they come back. And then, it was a terrible broadcast. So I shouldn't have listened to them, but I did. And they said, oh, Jacoby Brissett's warming up on the sideline. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Man. All right. And then they came, and then Sam is running back on the field. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Hell yes. So I knew that after that third one, it was it, which it needed to be. But, that's kind of how you kind of the feel you get in preseason. You're always looking over your shoulder like, is this the last possession for them? I can't wait to watch Sam either, man. I can't. Not only can I not wait to watch Sam, I can't wait for Sam to go out here and prove all of these people wrong. I already see the narrative slightly shifting on Sam because enough people have said, hey, man, this dude looks legit. I kind of see the narrative shifting, but he still got work to do. And I'm a big proponent of nah. Don't switch up now, Stay over there. Don't switch sides. Stay over there. All right. Don't switch over until after I lambast your ass. All right. Till I load up the clip and start firing off. Don't switch sides yet. Let me get a couple rounds off first. Because there's a lot of people out here flagrant, talking nonsense. So I like the energy. Keep it that way. Duncan Wright, my guy Duncan. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, Louie, I get it, but you've been spamming Super Friends. I got like 200 vids. Come on, man. I need Barbie and Care Bear videos. Come on, man. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, man. It's one of those nights. It's Thursday, Dunk. It's Thursday, bro. What we doing, man? You couldn't wait one more day, huh? You got the party started on a Thursday. All right. It's all good, man. You still my guy. Let's see. I think I got a couple hashtags that I'll knock out, and then we'll get out of here. Let's see. Right here. Red Wing 01 says, so Danny Johnson has a rotator strain. Mark Andrews asking John Harbaugh to sit out Monday as we speak. Hope he's good to go by the start of the season, but if not, things get interesting. I just literally talked about the cornerback position and how it's deep and guys are competing, but it's only one spot available. If Danny has to start the season off on the PUP list, or if they're, don't want to put him on PUP because they don't expect him to be out that long, but they know he's going to be out of commission for, say, the first 2 weeks of the season, they may have to keep an additional corner, right, on the roster. So it could get really interesting. If they don't put him on any list, then he has to make the team. They can't just put him on, put him aside and he doesn't count against the roster. The only way that happens is if he's put on the PUP list. So I don't know the severity. You're saying it's a strain. I want to see, what they say and how bad is it. That's unfortunate. And somebody was like, yo, Mark Andrews need a straightening on Monday. I said, he ain't playing. I don't think he was playing. I don't think Lamar and none of those guys were playing anyway. But if they were planning to play him after this got out, oh, he's not playing now. Yeah, right. There's no way he's playing in this game because it's nothing to send a goon out there to try to take him out. Like they're not going to put him in the game. If I were Harbaugh, I wouldn't, just because there were a couple of skirmishes in those, in those joint practices, and it got chippy, and then he took it too far, and now a dude is hurt. Dudes is going to take exception to that. So trust and believe he's not playing in the game. Frankie, yo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Cade York missed the game winner, got a mulligan, and then missed again. Finished 18-18. Yikes. I mean, Cade York stinks. And I know they spent either a third or a fourth rounder on him. I think it was a fourth, but I know it's either a third or a fourth. I remember saying, what the hell are you doing? Why are you taking a kicker so early? I always frown upon that, tomfoolery. The 49ers just did it, I think, with Jake Moody. I think they took him either in the third or the fourth round, and I'm side-eyeing them for that shit. is it rarely works out when you take a kicker that soon. You know, my honest opinion, that kicker will be there. And if he's that good, okay, fine. Like, I watched Jake Moody at Michigan. He was good, but he wasn't great. Like, you can do better. If he's not there in the 5th round, there are plenty of kickers in college football. Plenty of kickers. You know, I just don't get how you can spend an early pick like that. But if you've had, you know, serious kicking woes like the Browns have had, and I get that, when you're desperate, I remember Tampa Bay. Remember what they did with Roberto Aguayo, the GOAT? 2nd round pick on his ass, and he was out of the league in like 2 or 3 years. Yeah, right. Like, these teams have to learn. It's not a good investment. Cade York he's going to be cut. They're looking for a new kicker as we speak. He's been horrid this preseason. And the only reason they haven't quit on him yet is because they spent a 3rd or a 4th round pick on him. And they're trying to be patient and allow him to work through this nonsense so that they can validate the pick. But at some point, you cut your losses and you move on. And I think after this game, that's what they're probably going to have to do. Shame. I don't feel bad for him. Follow my damn rules. All right. Aaron Vaughn. Right? Did the Eagles hit the lottery with Tanner McKee? We'll see. We'll see. I wasn't the biggest fan of Tanner McKee out of Stanford, but a lot of people like him. And I couldn't understand what the fascination was. I likened it to Davis Mills. I saw the raw ability with Davis Mills, but it was like, I get that he has some talent, but what's all the fuss about? Like, at one point, people were trying to put Tanner McKee in the 1st round. I'm like, what? What? He's definitely has some talent, but I don't know. Maybe you found a late round gem. Maybe he ends up being really solid for you in that backup capacity, because you clearly need a backup quarterback. I'm of the mindset that if you got a legit starter, which you found yours in Jalen Hurts, then you should be looking for a young backup. If not a veteran that you trust, like a Colt McCoy type, or in the case of Jacoby Brissett, one of those type guys. If it's not one of those guys, then you need to be looking for a young guy that can come in and now you have to be careful. You got to know who you have at the quarterback position, because like the Eagles had with Wentz, he was fragile-minded, and when they drafted, he was okay with, you know, Nicholas Foles and Josh McCown being behind him. The minute they drafted Jalen Hurts, he fell the hell apart. So got to know who you're dealing with and know what kind of a psyche that quarterback has. But I'd be looking to find the young backup. Like, could you imagine DTR on that Eagles roster behind Jalen Hurts? Yeah, right. That'd be crazy. If you could find a guy like that, I think it'll complete the cipher, because that ain't Tanner McKee. But, you know, the thing is, when you have an offense that's like the Eagles, where it's heavy on the RPO and the read option, and your quarterback as a runner, and that threat exists, a guy like Tanner McKee doesn't necessarily fit into that mold per se, which is why you went out and got Marcus Mariota. McKee isn't a statue back there, but he isn't the best athlete either. So I don't know. We'll see. Small sample size with Tanner McKee, but you know, we'll see if they found a gem or not. We'll see. Red Wings, right? Also, the Ravens just signed Ronald Darby, clearly an insurance move for Marlon Humphrey being out. I saw that. Signed him to a little 1 year, I think it was $3.2 million deal or something like that. Good for him, you know. And that's what veterans like Ronald Darby wait for. They wait for an injury. You know, he was able to to miss all the camp, which he's not sorry about. And more likely than not, he's going to be on that Ravens roster come week 1, which guarantees his salary. And he just made $3.2 million. Nothing to scoff at. So that's what veterans wait for. This time of the year, wait for the phone to ring. And all it takes is one injury. And bam, you got work. All right. Mari says, I think the Ravens got karma. All the Ravens fans were spamming in the chat. Terry messed up his ACL. Then a few minutes later, there's information saying Marlon Humphrey got injured. I don't know if it's karma. I don't know about all of that. I think it was something with his foot, Marlon Humphrey, and he had surgery. So I wish him nothing but a speedy recovery. That sucks. Injuries suck. Jado writes, lots of people sleeping on us this year. They're going to be shocked. I feel that. I feel like there's a lot of people that, again, and rightfully so, they don't have any idea what's going on in Washington. And nor should they. But that's the beauty of the NFL. Unlike basketball or baseball, generally baseball, sometimes teams can come out of nowhere in baseball. It happens all the time. But because baseball is 162 games, eventually it doesn't matter. If you're not really that good and you just got hot, you'll eventually come back to the pack. You know, injury here, injury there, and all of a sudden you're not that team anymore. But basketball and baseball, for the most part, the good teams, the cream is going to rise to the top. Right. Football, everybody's got a shot because parity exists in this sport more so than any other. And you still got to have a quarterback. You know, that's always going to be a thing, but sometimes people count you out because they don't think you have one. I mean, that's what we did to the Eagles for the last 2 years until Jalen Hurts proved that he was the guy last year. You know, a lot of people dismiss you until you prove to them you were wrong. That's what Jalen Hurts did to a lot of us. I know I'm guilty as charged. I'm hoping Sam is able to do the same thing. Hope Sam is able to do the same thing. Red Wings writes, Browns need to sign Billy Cundiff. Yeah, he's got to be like 69 years old now. I mean, he sucked when he was 29. Definitely don't want him now. That's a tough spot to be in. You just spent a third or fourth rounder a year ago, and now you're looking for a kicker again. That's the point of spending that high draft capital, is so that you don't have to go through this for a very long time. And yet here they are looking for another kicker. The irony in that, right? The irony. Timothy Teeler, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Timothy writes, I'm surrounded by Cowboys fans at work, trying to tell them we are a dark horse, but they laugh. Why is everybody sleeping on us? Lou, we win in 10 plus games. That's a really simple answer, Tim. They don't respect us. And again, I've told you this already, nor should they. If I were an Eagles fan, if I were a Cowboys fan, and the Commanders fans were talking to me, when's the last time you had a winning season again? Get out of my face, man. How long? Can you answer that question? When's the last time Washington had a winning season? Not 500, a winning season. Can you answer that question? I know the answer. I know you know the answer, but you got to think about it. If you got to think about the last time you had a winning season, meaning you won more games than you lost, forget about making the playoffs. Just win more games than you lost. If you got to think about that, you have a problem on your hands. Okay? We haven't had a winning season since 2016. Let that sink in, man. Okay? Let that sink in. So do you really think somebody's going to respect you when you tell them, hey, we're winning 10+ games this year. But get out of my face, man. Okay? Go win more games than you lose and then come back and talk to me. Until then, don't even talk to me. That's the approach that most Eagles and Cowboys fans probably have when it pertains to us. And I'm fine with that. I don't give a shit. I'm going to talk my talk regardless. If my team sucks, that's when I'm gonna take a step back and say, all right, I ain't got nothing for you. But if I believe in my squad, I'm going to talk that talk. I think we actually have the squad for them to walk that walk. So, anyway, I digress. Duncan Wright, my guy, Duncan, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. I'm scared to look at this one. After the first one, I'm scared to look at this one. Double up. Oh, my God, Duncan writes, it's my night off. Is how that guy? I think not. Meh. So that explains why we turning up on a Thursday. That's all good. Yes, he's that guy. You'll find out soon enough. And I look forward to chopping it up with you when you do figure that out. When that light bulb goes off in your head, and maybe it's week 4 when we see you the first time. Maybe it's week 10 or whatever it is when we see you the second time. Maybe it's late in the season when he blesses Dallas on Thanksgiving for everybody to see while you chomping on your little turkey and cranberry sauce or whatever it is you enjoy on Thanksgiving. I don't know when that light bulb goes off in your head and you go, this Sam Howell fella is actually pretty damn good. But when it does, I'll be here. You know where to find me, and I look forward to having that conversation with you. Let's see. Abel Ambrosio writes, 24 days till kickoff. Can't wait. We're getting closer and closer. What are your thoughts on episode 2 of Hard Knocks? I haven't watched it. So me and my wife, I feel like I haven't seen my wife all week. She went back to work this week officially. And, obviously my schedule is starting to ramp back up. We're kind of, the kids are going back to school now. And so we've been like getting into a rhythm, but it's like 2 ships passing in the night. So she wants to watch it. We watched the first episode together. We haven't sat down at any point this week together on the couch, not once. So I'm saving it for her. We'll watch it tomorrow night when we have time. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to just save episodes 2 and 3 and mash my reactions and my recaps together for those instead of separating them. It's not doing great numbers anyway, to be honest. But I started it. I'm gonna finish it. So I'm gonna go ahead and break down all the episodes. But I haven't seen episode 2 yet. So if I had seen it, you would know because I would have talked about it on the podcast already. And I have a podcast tomorrow, and I would have talked about it there. But I haven't seen it, so there's nothing to see here right now. But you'll know. You'll know. Shay Robinson writes, Florio and Sims don't understand why Ron hasn't named Howell the starter. Most people don't. None of us do. I mean, it doesn't really make sense because nothing that has transpired in camp to this point leads you to believe that there was ever a competition in the first place. And Sam has only continued to get better and better and solidify his spot as the starting quarterback. So the question everybody has is, okay, what are we waiting on at this point? Where's the benefit of not letting the team know this is the guy, right? This is who we're moving forward with. You don't need to keep telling us Jacoby's doing a really good job. We know Jacoby's doing a really good job, but we also know Jacoby was brought here to be the backup quarterback. So what's the holdup? But look, don't talk to me about Mike Florio, okay? Because he doesn't like us anyway. He can kiss my ass, all right? Mike Florio can kick rocks. So anytime he gets an opportunity to criticize Washington, he's going to do it. If Ron Rivera decides to have a sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich or sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit instead of a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit, he's going to have an issue with that. Like, doesn't matter what we do. So I could care less about what Mike Florio says. Everybody else is saying the same thing, though. This one is obvious. Like, what are you waiting on, dude? I expect them to make the announcement tomorrow. That's my guess. They had a chance to watch the film from the joint practices as if that's going to make a difference. Like, they're going to say, you know what? Jacoby looked really good in these joint practices, and Sam looked subpar. So we're going to start Jacoby. What difference does it make? That's why everybody's like, what are you talking about? Just name him the starter already. What are we doing here? It's pointless. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? He says, you don't want me. I'm just waiting to unload, I'm guessing. I want the glory, so be ready next time. You be ready. I'm going to be here. You know what it is. All right? You know what it is. I'm going to be here. All right? So Wise Man once said, yeah, I'm going to be there. Oh, dear. I'm going to be here. All right? You be there. All right? Don't go running. Don't you run from me. Don't you run from me. You know where to find me. Whether we take an ass whooping like we did in week 3 last year, or we giving them out like we did in week 10, you know where to find me. Either way. All right. See, what time is it? We got about 3 more minutes, and then I'm gonna get out of here. See where we left off on the hashtags. Yeah, that's where we were. Jado writes, when's the record prediction coming out? Next Wednesday. Super Friends stream with the fellas. We're giving our record predictions for the NFC East. That's when I'll really start to deep dive into the schedule. I've been avoiding it because I've been waiting for us to do this. And so next Wednesday, 8 p, chop it up with the fellas, talk a little trash, and then we're going to get to the brass tacks of things and take a look at each team's schedule, give our predictions as we do every single year, and see how those work out. So next Wednesday, if you haven't already done so, head over to the NFC East Super Friends YouTube channel. All you have to do is type in at NFC East Super Friends. It'll pop right on up. Sub up the channel and make sure you turn on that notification bell because I don't want you to miss anything. And again, these streams are not going to be anywhere else except on that channel. So it is imperative that if you want to watch, you go over and you sub up so that you won't miss out. All right. Red Wing says, going 5 wide with Terry, Jahan, Curtis, Diami, and Pringle with Sam at the helm. Wouldn't that be a sight? They wouldn't do that, though. If we go 5 wide, if we go empty, I guarantee you Logan Thomas and the back are out there. I find it hard to believe that they'll just empty the set with 5 receivers. No tight ends, no backs on the field. They'll split Antonio Gibson out. They'll split Logan Thomas out. But they're not going to just go empty with 5 receivers. Hardly any teams in the league do that. If you're going empty, there's a tight end on the field, and there's probably a running back. And if it's no running back, 4 receivers and 1 tight end, but rarely is it 5 wide. Like, that's rare. All right. Yeah, that whole biscuit analogy kind of went sideways. I'm not gonna lie. I showed my rust there. Being a vegan, I used to crush breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. I used to crush those breakfast sandwiches. I haven't had one in ages, so you gotta pardon me on that. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Fly Eagles fly. Last chat. Ha ha. Hey, he lit, y'all. My God, Duncan. Oh man, funny dude. Anyway, we hit 11:30. I didn't want to keep y'all here too long. just wanted to lay eyes on the Eagles. Hadn't done it all off season for the most part, kind of keeping tabs from afar, but now I need to get a little closer and get a good look at what the hell they got going on over there. Same with the Cowboys and the Giants. I'll do that this weekend, kind of see what they got going on as we head into the regular season. I did see the Cowboys a little bit last week, saw what Deuce Vaughn was up to and all of that good stuff. But I'll be taking a much closer look at Dallas this week. Same with the Giants. I'm hoping the Giants play their starters this week. They didn't play them last week. I hope they don't think they arrived. Don't try to act like you're in Philadelphia. You know what's crazy to me? And again, it all boils down to philosophy. So I'm not going to do the thing that I did last year and get on my soapbox and start talking about how all these teams are going to struggle to start the season off because they didn't play the starters in the preseason. But it just strikes me as odd that the best team in the league, usually the New England Patriots in previous years, would always play Brady in the preseason and let him throw it, 45 times in the preseason to get him ready. The Chiefs are starting their starters again. They played them last week for a possession. They didn't do much, but still, just get them out there. Let them get a little sweat, a little lather up, and then get them out. They're going to start them again this week. I find it odd that they can do it, but everybody else is too good to play their starters. It's mind-boggling, but I digress. Enough of me. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll be back tomorrow with a podcast. If you're a Washington fan, they do have practice tomorrow, so you'll probably hear from me in some capacity, whether it be live or an upload. That remains to be seen. But in any event, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. God bless, and good night.